I actually get mad at myself sometimes after the show because I don't stress enough to you how bad this is. I hope you understand. I'm not spinning things to sound worse than it is. I cannot describe how criminal and hellish big government is, how completely rogue and criminal every major government on earth is, just robbing and stealing from their people. That's what the Founding Fathers warned us about. They said, you better keep government small, you better stay on top of it, you better guard the jewel of liberty, and you turn away for 10 seconds, tyrants will rise up and enslave you, and your children will be slaves on the continent your ancestors conquered. And I look at how this has happened now, and it just makes my head spin. And then I have all these other articles here in my stack. From Associated Press, Reuters, Daily Tech. See, I actually read the technical journals. I know Exxon and Mobil and Dutch Roll Shell and BP funded the entire phony environmental movement to put taxes on carbon. But when you hear the news, they say oil companies don't want it. These people are geniuses. That's why they're in control, because they know how to scam people. Here's one out of Daily Tech. Auto execs urge government to tax fuel up to $8 a gallon to increase fuel efficiency. And it talks about the heads of the major oil companies, the heads of the major car companies, meeting with government regulators saying, we want $8 a gallon on the fuel. I mean, it's incredible. The oil companies want the global carbon tax. One reason is most of the tax is on coal. Coal produces 51% of the power in the U.S., even more in areas of Europe. That's another sector, another elite. That's a system that's not completely controlled by one group. There's a lot of rich people own coal, but it's not monolithic. It's not monopolistic. It's over. They're talking about a 50+% tax. Obama has been quoted saying we're going to bankrupt coal. I mean, I could pull that clip up. In fact, just YouTube, Obama says we're going to bankrupt coal. I mean, they're going to bank because he works for the oil companies. You got to love it. And all these idiot environmentalists running around. They don't care about real environmental problems, genetic engineering, toxic waste dumping, all these other serious issues. They want to tax what plants breathe because the oil company says so. And the oil companies have loopholes written where they're not going to pay anything. You're going to pay more. Oh, it's a sick joke. Okay, I'm done ranting. I'm going to go to your calls now and then into the next hour. Solid phone calls, and I got some other economic news coming up. But they're trying to pass anti-gun bills right now, the greenhouse gas bills right now to tax everything and totally federally take over the entire society. Unspeakably bad. They are trying to pass the healthcare takeover. The government is nothing but the mechanism of offshore banks to engage in a ruthless corporate takeover and strip mining and sell off of the nation. Foreign banks and corporations and countries are buying up everything right now. They're plunging the dollar right now so they can come in with their foreign currencies and buy us up. And the public's running around drooling, slobbering mindlessly, doing nothing but watching football. And you deserve what you get. Your children have no future. You're completely enslaved. If you would wake up and say no, we could stop it. But you won't. You love it. You're too tough and too cool to admit you're being enslaved. Not me. I'm scared to death. I'm freaked out. I'm screaming bloody murder. I know when I'm under threat. I know when I see tyranny. And I know my listeners are great people and they're awake, but I'm talking to new listeners out there that think this is all cute and funny. I can't believe this is happening to our country. I love America so much. It's been so special. You're not getting a free lunch, you idiots out there that think you're getting some free health care. Nothing is free, morons. Don't you understand that, you fools? There's a reason everybody wanted to get into this country. We weren't perfect, but we had some semblance of freedom. And so 4% of the world's population had half the wealth. And so all these foreign groups came in, all these foreign interests came in and bought us off and ripped us off. Let's go to Dan in Pennsylvania, and then Rosie in the Virgin Islands and everybody else. Dan, I'm sorry I'm ranting. When I found out last night that they'd passed this thing late night, it was like a punch in the stomach and then a punch in the jaw, and then like somebody had just thrown me in a ditch, man. That to have control freak government closing in on us at every level, Dan.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. I was watching it yesterday as well, and then I did have to go to sleep, and it was, I woke up and I was aghast, actually. This is kind of on a better note, actually. I haven't seen this very much, or I haven't seen anything. This is the first time I saw this. It's about Desiree Jennings.
Yes, there were that was the cheerleader with the Washington Redskins who got partially paralyzed from the shots. And there are medical treatments if used early on that can reverse a lot of that unless the Guillain-Barré disorder really sets in. Dale Dudley, local talk show host on 93.7 KLBJ FM, the number one talk show host in the morning here in town with the Dudley and Bob show. He got Guillain-Barré from a shot, but thank God it only made him partially paralyzed for a few months after he took a shot.
She was cured.
I did see that report. That is good news. Yeah. I appreciate your call, Dan.
I sent that over to you today. Can I say hi to my kids real quick?
Sure, Dan.
Just Ethan, Justin, and Jordan. Hi, I love you. Contact me.
All right, Dan. Take care.
Yeah,
Take care, buddy. Let's talk to Rosie in the Virgin Islands. Rosie, the government has something free for you. Of course, their internal textbooks say they want to sterilize you and kill you, but boy, isn't that great? The government's going to run everything now. That's freedom.
Hi, Alex. First-time caller. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for holding. Go ahead, Rosie.
Well, Alex, I've been following this and just kind of listening. Well, mostly I was following the bird flu or swine flu, but this whole healthcare thing, I'm self-employed. I mean, are you saying it would take, I'd have to have a $15,000 a year policy?
That's what the bill said. It's even worse. It's even worse than the previous 5 versions. What they ended up...
I want to know, is there any way, because I've done this for years with my kids, I opted out of all the vaccinations.
No, they're saying they're going to give you a $250,000 fine and 5 years in prison. In fact, let me pull the actual bill out. Keep going.
Well, is there any way you can opt out of this? I wouldn't take medical care if you paid me. I would rather go to a naturopath, anybody but these guys.
Okay, I got that wrong. That's why I had a feeling I'd gotten that wrong. H.R. 3962, page 2, it says $250,000 fine and 1 year in prison. I don't know where I got 5, but so it's only 1 year in prison. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was wrong. One of the other clauses is 1 year in prison. I was correct. I'm sorry. They take 2.5 to 5% out of your check to begin with, but that's for the totally uninsurable and the non-working. So you get a new 2.5 to 5% tax on you. Don't worry, if you make under $50,000, it's only 2.5. Above that, 5%. And then you have to go out and buy your own insurance on top of that, and it is 5 years in prison and $250,000 fine. And then there's another provision for felony and 5 years, and then another one is Section 7203 is $25,000 fine and only 1 year in prison. So there's a lot of different prison times here. So I was right and I was wrong. Anything else you'd like to add, criminal?
No, I just wanted to know, is there any way to opt out if you did not want... I don't want regular mainstream medicine care.
Well, you're going to have it, okay? They're already saying that if you eat too much, they're going to watch with your new national ID card. You scan at the store what you're eating and say, oh, you ate too much Bluebell ice cream. You ate too many T-bone steaks. Then your tax premiums are going to go up. And on your card is going to be your carbon credits as well. But, ma'am, here's the good news. We're going to beat this in the Senate, Lord willing, and people will call them and freak out and file lawsuits and get involved. And we're going to beat it down the road. We're going to beat big government. We're going to recognize what this is the government trying to become our pimp, trying to run our lives. The mafia always wants to give you something so they have an excuse to get involved in your life. They're vampires. They have criminal rules. We're going to defeat them. We're going to defeat the Soviets.